Welcome back. Another case of migrant workers being lathicharge reported from Maharashtra. In fact, this has happened in Mumbai. 300 migrants were lathicharged when they took to the streets outside the Mumbai Central railway station, demanding that they be allowed to return home. They claimed that they were never given a chance to board the Shramik special train. The police resorted to lathicharge to disperse the crowd. My colleague Santhya tracking this story for us. Santhya, rather unfortunate this has happened in Mumbai outside the Central Railway Station. Tell us what prompted the police and why was it necessary to lathi charge the migrant workers? Clearly they're in a state of complete panic and desperation to get home.
Yes, absolutely, Afrida. The incident took place yesterday morning at around 10:30 when these migrant laborers, they gathered in Mumbai Central area. So these migrant laborers, most of them are either from Zari units or leather factories or shoe manufacturing factories. And most of them do not have, of course, all of them are not getting paid anymore. Some of them received some partial salary for some days, but after that, that also stopped. So these migrant laborers do not have something as basic as a one-day meal. So clearly they were panicking and they were actually making rounds of Nagpada police station since last 1 week to get their names registered. Despite that, they absolutely had no idea when exactly will the train take them back to their states. How many days will it take back? How many days will it take for them to actually board a train? There was no communication on that front. So obviously the panic which was already among the migrant laborers, it increased, and that's why they gathered in Mumbai Central area. Now Mumbai police has to say that only partial force was applied, but we can see that these people were lathi charged. Mumbai police has to say that partial force was applied in order to disperse the crowd so that the lockdown violation doesn't continue. But we can see how migrant workers were badly lathi charged by Mumbai police, and all they wanted to know was when exactly their train will take them back to their homes. Last night, another train did leave from Mumbai, and some of these migrant laborers were made to sit in that train. But Afrida, there are many more migrant laborers in the state who have absolutely no idea that how many days will it take for them to get a train which will take them to their respective states.
Yes, absolutely. So therefore, there is fear and there is paranoia among the migrant population. The reassurances coming from the highest authorities not reaching the man on the street. He is not getting the message that he can go back to his workstation and he will be provided for. Fear continues to grip them, and therefore these kind of situations are emerging. Thanks for joining us, Santhya, with your inputs. Now, the major area of worry for the state of Maharashtra and for Mumbai in particular has been the Dharavi area, the world's largest slum area with a huge density of population, continues to pose the biggest challenge for the authorities here. Now we are looking at the figures that are coming from Dharavi are increasing by the day, and not just that, the rate of increase is also getting only higher. Containment zones in Dharavi have been redesigned now by the newly appointed BMC chief Iqbal Chahal. Earlier, Dharavi had 213 containment zones, which now has been redesigned to 20, with more areas being included in each containment zone. The BMC chief also directed ward officers to map particular high-risk areas which are extremely vulnerable to spreading the disease, and these areas will have very strict rules of movement. There are 1,028 COVID cases in Dharavi so far. In the last 24 hours, we are given to understand that 40 deaths reported from Dharavi alone. So let me get in Disha to help us understand the realignment that is being done in Dharavi, Disha. There is a way of now marking out containment zones, making it broader than before, which is why the number has reduced. But that doesn't mean that the worries in any way has reduced. In fact, looking at the figures, 40 new cases of deaths in Mumbai, and all of them, it seems, are from Dharavi. New cases, I'm sorry, new cases.
That's right. Dharavi remains
Disha, if you can clarify
the
on
biggest
that
challenge.
Front, yes.
Well, certainly, of course, when we talk about 40 new deaths, that has taken place yesterday only in the city of Mumbai. This is, of course, the Mumbai figures, 40 new deaths. This is the highest figure that we have seen so far in the city, taking the fatalities to closer to the 1,000 mark is what we understand. But, of course, at this point in time, it is very important that Dharavi remains to be the biggest cause of concern, Afrida, for the BMC, because right now also, although we say that the containment zones have come down from 213 to 20, but this means that the number of areas have increased, which essentially means now larger areas have come into the containment zone, and this BMC has done to ensure that they can monitor and keep a track that how the spread is, how to contain the spread very quickly. Because remember, till now the BMC used to seal single buildings, they used to contain one area, but now if this happens, if one of the positive case also comes to light, then they might contain the entire area so that the spread is limited and the spread is contained. So that is why this extreme crucial step is being taken by the new commissioner, Iqbal Chahal. In fact, what we also understand, he has directed the ward officer of Dharavi particularly to map the high risk zones within these containment areas, so that even if the situation arises, they know particularly which are the worst affected blocks within that containment area, and that is something that they can push and prioritize more. So these are certain rules and decisions that the new commissioner has taken, particularly in Dharavi, because remember, Dharavi has crossed the 1,000 positive cases mark just yesterday, and as we speak there are about 2,500 people still institutionally quarantined. So that is something which the BMC officials are very closely looking at.
All right, so two important points: the delimitation of the containment zones, making them smaller in number but stricter measures, and Dharavi, of course, will be treated now as a serious hotspot with a lot of vigil being put in place. Thanks for joining us, Disha, with your inputs on the story.